All right, everybody. Sorry if the audio is a little weird. I have the phone in the cabinet and I don't have a mic. But we're going to do our soap making video today. Sorry for the beeping. This thing is just not wanting to start. There it goes. All right, we're starting with our stearic acid just because I had an oddball amount of that left and I want to use up the last of it here. Like I said, I don't really necessarily want to share exact numbers for my recipe or anything, but I will obviously share ingredients. That's not a problem with me. And I do use a lot of stearic acid. I don't use, it's not the primary ingredient. The primary ingredient is tallow. Just barely, but it is. Pull something out to scoop this up with. But I have this on low just to melt that down. Or on high, I mean not low. I'm going to turn it to low later in the process so that I don't bring the boils up too much. That would explain it. Now this is going to be a relatively long video, especially compared to what I'm usually making, but I will be speeding up the process so it won't be as long as real life, just so you get to watch this melt and whatnot after I'm done adding all the ingredients. But I'm measuring out the tallow right now, because again, that is the actual primary by weight. A little too much. Still a little too much. It doesn't have to be exact, but as close as you can get it if you're trying to make a consistent recipe. This isn't like a super crazy scale or anything. It's just a cheapie from Walmart, but as exact as I can get it on there is as close as I like to get, basically. You don't have to get it down to the gram is what I'm trying to say. As long as your ratios are relatively the same. At least in my experience. I could be totally wrong, and anybody who's making soap, please let me know, because again, this is only my 4th batch. But we got tallow and we got our stearic acid in there. Next, we're going to go with coconut oil, which I just grabbed from Walmart, by the way. Great Foods, or Great Value brand. But you can get coconut oil all over the place. Actually, I take that back. That's what I did use. What's in here is the stuff I got from Brambleberry that is a lot more expensive. And I also didn't have it at the time of starting to use this stuff. But that'll be just fine. Used a little too much there. Let me make sure this is still accurate because I put a lot of weight on that. Okay. Okay. That's good. It might be a little spot extra, but oh well. I don't use a lot of coconut oil, just a couple of little clunks there, personally. It makes a very drying soap, the more of that you add in there. At least from what I've read. I haven't made like a pure coconut oil soap or anything. I will eventually be experimenting with all of it, but at least at the moment, not yet. I did forget one little step though, and I bought these for making the lye, but I found that your hands get extra oily grabbing all these oils and whatnot, so I'm going to put on some gloves here so I don't get any more oil all over everything. Coconut oil, next we're going to go with castor, then we'll do arche and mango butter. Castor oil here from Brambleberry. Just measuring that out real quick. Now that's the hard part about making soaps. Genuinely the hardest part is getting accurate measurements. But if you can get accurate measurements, you can absolutely make any kind of soap. Now, I didn't think about it. I'm going to have to move this setup, so I'll have to reset it up again. I did not make my lye yet, and I do want to record that process because it is, there's certain things that are important to follow, I'll put it that way. You don't want to make lye in an enclosed space or anything like that. It makes gases that you do not want to breathe in. But It's also not like an explosion. It's not going to instantly fill your room with those toxic gases or anything. It just, you don't want to be in there whenever they are made. Or if you are going to be in there, it's got to be a well ventilated area, basically. I'll leave that just like that. Let's see, you can kind of see in there at very least. I wish I had a camera I could put in there, but anyhow, I acted like I was done adding stuff. I don't know why I did that. I'm not done adding stuff. I still got 2 more oils to add in there. Alright, so we got castor oil. We just need our shea butter and our mango butter. That's all I'm missing now. There's the shea butter. Okay. Add that in there, just so I'm not wasting. And mango butter. Hard to open with one hand, covered in oil, but I got it. Whoops. Start. Alright, now I've added all the oils, because that's a little chunk of mango butter that I was adding. And that's all of them there. We're going to start the time lapse now. So I'm going to put the lid on. As I was saying, I kind of wish I had something that I could put in there, but it's best we got. I'll be right back. Alright, we're really starting to get melted up now. Look at that. Let me pause my video here. I'm watching Larry. Larry shaves. I apologize, by the way, if that video audio is in the video. I hope not, but I don't want to just sit here and wait for it to melt. We're already 40 minutes into this, so it does take a little while. There's the dryer. But as you can see, we're definitely getting there. I just wanted to come in and get that to that point here. Mix it up a little bit. Get it to a point where it's actually all going to melt, not just be mostly melted and then the one clump of lard sitting there in the middle, you know what I mean? But anywho, just wanted to mix that up real quick. Back to the time lapse. Alrighty. It's not quite there yet. Still melting a little bit. But we're definitely getting there. It's definitely getting close. Excuse me. So, we're actually going to take a little break. Sorry about that, the video cut out. Anyhow, we're going to take a little break so that I can make my lye here. I just have a fan on the open window. Yeah, it's pretty snowy out there, but I've just got the fan set up so that I'm not breathing in any fumes or anything. And I've got my scale here. Now I got the container I use for my lye. I'm just going to zero that out. And I actually have to grab my recipe real quick, find how much I need of each. One sec. Alrighty. I got my phone set up so I have the recipe on one side and the camera on the other now. So we're going to actually set this up correctly. Or, you know what I mean. I'm just trying to find the lye amount. My brain no worky. Alright, so we need just shy of 6 ounces in total. We'll need I'm using both potassium and sodium hydroxide lye. So I'm going to set this down real quick just so I can use both hands to open this up. It's a safety lock. And we're going to start with the sodium. I'm going to turn that fan off just for right now. I need... Gotcha. And of course, as soon as I want to go pour it in, the my scale turned off. One sec. Alright, let's try that again. Alright. Now I'm going to set this container in the sink. And because I'm using both, that's just my sodium. I'm going to finish cleaning this out real fast. And then I'm going to use that to measure the rest of it. Alrighty. We got that in there. And we got this zeroed out. Now I'm going to grab my potassium, because we just did sodium. And I'm going to need a little over double of what I need for the sodium for this recipe personally. Alrighty. There's that. I just loosely put that on. I will finish tightening that down here. I just want to make sure this goes into there. And now we have a clean, dry thing that I can use to pour my distilled water into as well. Because for making lye, at least, I don't want to use the same... container or the same water that like comes out of my well water. It's not, there's a bunch of crap in there. You don't want it in the soap. Also, our oils are almost completely done melted, by the way. There's just a few grains left of that stearic that was stuck in the tallow, and that will be done. So I actually should have made this sooner, but oh well. I need 13.9, and I don't know how I'm going to record that part either, so we're just going to not. I'm going to go for 13.1 ounces of water here. There we go, perfect. 13.1. And now my favorite part, I'm going to grab my spatula here. Let's just go ahead and set that next to it. I was going to set it in there, but I don't know why I don't want to. And I'm just going to turn the fan on actually first. Now I'm going to pour the water in. Very slowly. Not trying to make it pop and spit everywhere. And you'll notice I put my gloves on for this part and safety glasses because it does tend to do that. You can hear it bubbling and hissing. I stepped way back, by the way. Look at that. I'm way, way back, but that's cool to look in the camera finally and look down at it. And then you just want to stir until it's clear. And I will be back whenever I have my phone set back up. Because like I said, that water's just about clear. I'm going to wait for this to cool down a little bit, clear up. And then we'll be good to go. Alrighty, we've got that set back up, and as you can see, our water is clear. Our oils are melted clear. So I'm actually going to unplug that for now, and we're going to find out what temperature this is at. I don't have one of the fancy dancy radar ones. I just got this little Taylor thermometer here. Takes a second to get up to the actual temp. Still climbing. A little shaky. Okay. Around 170, 160. I'm gonna stir that up a little bit. And now that I know it's in a decent range, I'm going to grab my lye in my container here, and I'm going to grab my mixer here, the mixing stick here. This is just a simple Amazon Basics one, but it does the job perfect. I'm going to set it to the lowest setting, and we're just going to set that in there because this likes to mix up right away because it's a dual lye. Yep. And now that it's mixed up, we're going to turn that up a bit. This is why you want to wear eye protection. I should have kept my gloves on, but you know, glad I kept my glasses on. One thing I did not do is I did not measure out my scent oils. However, I'm going to do that now. This does still need to be mixed, but I also need to know how much oil I'm using. That'll be good. That's whenever it starts to fill up the room starts to smell really, really good. And whenever it gets thick enough like this, which is starting to get past that grainy, almost mashed potato. Now the stick mixer isn't doing a whole lot, so we're just going to tap that off. I'm going to take it off the electronics so I can tap a little harder. Set that off to the side where it will fall on the ground. And I will grab my spatula and continue to mix like this by hand. But alright, you see it's a nice white color. I'm going to add the scent oils. I didn't get a whole lot for this, for the amount that there is here. I'm actually going to add a little more. That ought to be good. Alrighty. And now it's like a greener color because I added those oils. And I should have waited a little bit because it is a little hot, but it still smells pretty good. It's not going to be the exact scent that I wanted because I did that, but we'll find out. This is now an experiment. I mean, it was an experiment to begin with. I had never made shave soap with that scent yet, so we'll find out. We're just going to keep on mixing until it will reach a Vaseline stage where it's a little more transparent. It's still in the mashed potato stage right now. Now admittedly, this video I'm going off of memory. I haven't watched it in a while, and I haven't made soap in about a month now just because life got a little busy, but like I said, I do plan on making more. Getting more into this, doing a little extra, you know, messing with the recipe a bit, playing with bases, all the fun stuff. I just want to see how this turns out. I should have waited for the scent, but now I'm curious. If need be, I can add some of my raw scent oils, a little touch of them, just to add some of that back at the end here. They got cooked away. I'm also going to add a little bit of glycerin to this batch. Haven't done that to my previous ones yet. Just a little bit. I don't want to add a ton. In fact, I'm not even going to match any of my other ingredients. I just want to see if I can use this as more of like a also a slickness but a hydration element. Because I've already almost fully saponified this soap, this shouldn't be mixed in completely. Once it gets to that clear, translucent Vaseline stage is whenever it's considered to be done. Which it does take a minute to get from that this here mashed potato stage to that, and it will never get truly clear, and I guess Vaseline isn't either, but you'll see where I pull it at. I can tell you just washing off my fingers there, that's some slick soap. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. As soon as it stopped, it got harder. Well, okay. We're going to call this a semi-success. It should still work. I'd give it a couple of days before use type of deal. At very bare minimum. And because it's such a hard, clumpy bit now, I'm actually going to put my gloves on. And it is still pretty warm, but I want to make sure that I pack this down as much as possible. I don't like having air bubbles in my soap. At least giant ones. That's not cool by me. Little tiny ones are, it's not much you can do about the tiny ones, but usually the soap's a little bit thinner than this whenever I'm pouring it into things. It isn't already set to soap. But if you're wondering how soft or hard my soap is, this is about it. I definitely need to add more fragrance oil next time. But this whole thing was a little bit of a panic put together. That's okay. My whole life is a panic put together. Alright, so turns out these are actually 6-ounce tubs, but I said 4. We're calling it 4. This is a very basic soap. I don't need no more than that. There's one. We got 4 of these in total, and then everything else I'm going to have to put into a little silicone thing over there. At some point this stopped recording, don't know when or why, but there's what we finished off with. Video kind of went to poo at the end there, but I'm sure these will still work great. Just going to give them a couple extra days. Make sure that lies all the way through, because I did not get it to the Vaseline stage. There's the pucks in the bag. I'll figure out what I want to do with them as well. But yeah, catch you guys next time.